Okay, today we're going to learn about permutations only. On the second day, you're going to learn about combinations. I'm going to break this up into two sections so you can watch two different videos. So before I start with permutations and combinations, I just want to go to a separate page. And in fact, I'm just going to add an extra page. And I just want to show you the difference between a permutation and a combination. NPR and NCR. I'm going to show you two different ways. I'm going to show you using your calculator, and another way, if you don't have a calculator, I'm going to show you how to do it the long version, because you might not have a calculator and you might have to use the long version to solve these problems on the worksheet today. So what is a permutation as one is a combination? So let's say you're taking 3p2 or 3c2. Okay, what does this mean? So the bigger numbers always on the left, smaller numbers always on the right. Bigger numbers on the left, smaller numbers on the right. Sometimes the numbers will be equal. That's okay too. You can do equal amounts. I'll explain what equal amounts is. But the big three means you're doing three things, like the letters A, B, and C. That's what the three means. You're choosing three things, but instead of choosing the three, you're only going to put two of them together of the three. So this is what you would do. There are three things, but you would only group them in groups of two. So A and B is one group. A and C is another group. And B and C is another group. I can also rearrange them the opposite way. B and A is another group. C and A is another group. And C and B is another group. Altogether, there are 6 different permutations of taking 3 different things and grouping them in groups of 2. Okay, what's the difference? I'm going to do 3 things taken 2 at a time down here for combination. AB is one group, AC is another group, and BC is the third group. I do not rearrange them, and that's why there's only 3 3C2s. There's always more permutations than combinations. So now I'm going to show you how to use your calculator to get these answers. I'm going to show you the calculator way, and I'm going to show you the long way, depending on what you have. Your calculator has a PRB button. So look at your PRB button. It's way over on the left side of your calculator. It's a PRB. If you hit that PRB button, you're going to notice that there is, you're going to notice on the PRB button that there's an NPR button, an NCR button, and a factorial button. Those are the 3 buttons under the PRB. You probably didn't even know that they're there. So I'm going to show you how to use this button. So why don't you clear out of it? And we're going to do this one first. We're going to do 3P2. This will take a little bit, but all you do is you hit the 3. So I'm going to show you. You hit the 3. You go under the PRB button. So hit the 3, then go under the PRB button. Hit enter because it's underlined, the NPR, and then hit 2. So what your calculator looks like is this. There should be a 3, there should be the NPR, and then there should be the 2, and now hit enter, and you get an answer of 6, which we knew up here was 6, And here it is, and I also showed you the long way how there's 6. You don't want to do it the long way because some of the answers are going to be gigantic, like 582 different possibilities. You don't want to list the 582 possibilities. You'd rather just use your calculator. The NCR button is exactly the same way. So let's clear that. And let's just do 3. Hit the PRB button. So hit 3, go into the and then you have to arrow over to underline the NCR button, and then hit 2. So it looks like this, 3, NCR, 2, and hit enter, and you get 3 for your answer. And that's what we got up here. So that's using your calculator if you have those buttons. Okay, now what does this mean? What does this explanation mean? So let's come down here and let's explain what this means. This is on the ACTs. If you see a 3 with an exclamation point after it, this is all it means. 3 times 2 times 1. You keep decreasing those numbers until you get to 1, which is equal to 6. Again, if you want to use the 3 factorial button, you just go and you hit the 3, you hit the PRB button. So I'll wait for you to hit the 3 and hit the PRB button, but I want to put it way over to the exclamation point and hit enter. And now it looks like 3 factorial, and I bet the answer is going to end up being 6. And I also showed you the long way. For example, how about this one? What's 5 factorial? That's the same thing as 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. You can either do it if you have a calculator, 5 factorial, or if you don't have a calculator, you'd have to do it the long way. It's not going to hurt you. 120 you should get, no matter which way you do it. Okay, so if you don't have a calculator, then you'll have to do it the long way. And these are the 2 formulas, and I'll use them to show you how it works. But this is the formula if you don't have a calculator. NPR equals N factorial divided by N minus R factorial. NCR is equal to N factorial divided by N minus R factorial times R factorial. So that's how that works. So I'm just going to show you, if you don't have those buttons, how to do it. So remember, this was the 3 and this was the 2. All you do is put 3 factorial on the top, because that stands for the N. What's 3 take away 2? What happens when you subtract 3 take away 2? You're going to have 1 factorial down there. And then what I would do is figure out what 3 factorial is. I think it's 6, and 1 factorial is 1, and 6 divided by 1 is 6. And then I can do the same thing with this one. This is 3 and this is 2. My 3 factorial goes here. My 3 take away 2 is 1 factorial. And then my R factorial goes here, which is 2 factorial. What I would do is come up with 3 factorial, which is 6. 1 factorial is 1 times 2 factorial, which is 2. So it's 6 divided by 2, which is equal to 3. So it doesn't matter. You can use whichever formula. The PRB button is way quicker than using these formulas. But just by using your factorial button, you know that 3 factorial is 3 times 2 times 1, and that's how I got 6. So it doesn't matter, you're going to get the same answer. I might be using these again and again and again, just to prove to you that they're the same. They're not much different, so. Okay, let's start with the assignment now. Okay, I already explained to you what the NPR stood for, so let's go and do the first couple of examples. I already told you what 5 factorial is. 5 factorial is 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, and it's 120. This is the long way, this is the shortcut way, using the button, not using the button. Okay, what happens if they asked you to do 6 factorial times 2 factorial? All you have to do is plug it into your calculator to do 6 factorial, 2 factorial, or the long way. 6 factorial is 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. So this is 6 factorial. What is 2 factorial? 2 times 1. And if you do it the long way, you are going to get, I'm going to do it the shortcut way. 6 factorial and 2 factorial makes, wow, 1,440. And if you multiply those all across, you'll get it. This one, I've seen this one on the ACT. Your calculator only goes so far, and you're not going to get the answer. It's going to say overload on your calculator, so you have to know how to do this. So I'm just going to start doing this. First of all, it's 99, and then it's 98, and then it's 97, and then it's 96, and it goes all the way down to the number 1. I think you get that. And then what's 97 factorial? Well, that's 97 times 96 times 95, and that goes all the way down to 1. But doesn't the 1 and the 1 cancel each other out? Doesn't the 96 and the 96 and the 95 and the 95, so don't all of these cancel out? Oh, forgot even the 97 and the 97. So when you have a division, things on the top can cancel out with things on the bottom. So really, the answer is 99 times 98, which is 9702. So that's how you do division. Okay, let's just use our calculators to finish this. How many different ways can 7 books be placed on a shelf? So you're placing 7 books 7 times. Remember, this is the bigger number, this is the smaller number, but they can also be the same. It doesn't matter. All you do is you plug 7 in, you hit your PRB button, find the permutation and put 7 in again. This is the quick way, and you're going to get 5,040. Okay, if you don't have a calculator that does that, you're just going to follow the formula that I just gave you. And it is n factorial over n minus r factorial. So the n is 7 factorial. Divided by 7 minus 7, which is 0 factorial, which doesn't really exist. So it's just 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. So if they're the same number, the 0, you can't divide by 0. So all you have to do is 7 factorial. And 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 is 5,040. How many ways can 7 books be placed on the shelf 4 times? If you use your calculator, it's 7, it's 840. If you use the formula, it's the larger number divided by 7, take away 4, which is 3 factorial. I just subtracted those two. That's what goes on the bottom. If they're the same, up here you don't do it, you just do the top. But if they're different, you can subtract them. So the long way, you would have to figure out what 7 factorial is. It's going to be a pretty big number. And divide it by 3 factorial, which is going to be a smaller number. And I bet if you take 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 and divide it by 3 times 2 times 1, you'll get 840. Again, these numbers are the same. You can use your calculator, and your calculator is going to give you 6P6, which is going to give you 720. Without the calculator, all you're going to do is 6 factorial. If they're the same, you don't have to do the 6 take away 6, and you should also get 720. Okay, now, one more time, the numbers are different. If you do 90p3, wow, it's 704880. If you don't have a calculator, you're going to do 90 factorial divided by 90 take away 3. 90 take away 3 is 87 factorial. Your calculator might not be able to do that. You start doing 90 times 89 times 88 times 87 times 86 down to 1. And this is 87 times 86 times 85 down to 1. The 87 and the 87, the 86 and the 86, the 85 all the way down. All this cancels out, so the only thing you have left is 90 times 89 times 88. And you get the same answer, 704880. The last one for today, what happens if there's repetition in permutations? Like the word, let's see, how about tot? Do you see, instead of A, B, C, if I wanted to take 2 letters at the same time, like this, A, B, A, C, or let's say we wanted to do them all of them at the same time, like this. What happens if I started rearranging them? OTT, but then I rearrange those, aren't they exactly the same? So all you have to do when there's repetition, the letter in the word 3, you count how many letters there are, and you put that on the top, so it's 5 factorial, divided by how many letters repeat. The E's. How many E's are there? 2 E's, and you do 2 factorial on the bottom. So 5 factorial, which is 5 times 4, times 3, times 2, times 1. I'm just going to do it the long way. 5 factorial is 120. 2 factorial is 2. You're going to get 60 different ways you can rearrange the letters in the word 3. Basketball. Find the different ways the letters in the word basketball can be arranged. So you count how many letters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 factorial goes on the top. And all the letters that repeat. The A's repeat. The B's repeat. And the L's repeat. So the total goes on the top. Total letters go on the top with factorial. And all the letters that repeat. I have 2 A's, so I have to put 2 factorial. I have 2 B's, so I do 2 factorial. And I've got 2 L's, so I have to do 2 factorial. This one only had 2 E's, so I only had to do 2 factorial on the bottom. I think that's it. 2 B's, 2 A's, 2 L's. You can figure out what 10 factorial is by using your calculator. 10 factorial is 3628800 divided by 2 factorial is 2 times 1, which is 2, times 2 times 2. And all of 2 times 2 times 2 makes 8. So you're going to take that number and divide it by 8, which is, final answer, 453,600. And that is all for the notes. You learned what permutation is and combination. Second part, you're going to watch the video on another day.